From finally getting a chance to weasel his way into UFC, to initiating some good old trash talk, here's how Logan Paul could finally make his MMA debut. The UFC honcho's trying his best to make the highly anticipated Musk vs. Zuck fight a reality. But from the looks of it, he might end up adding one more controversial fight to that card. You heard it, Logan and his team have reached out to UFC, selling them on his MMA debut, going down on the same night, and for free. Sounds like an offer Uncle Dana can't refuse.
Elon Musk and Eric Zuckerberg fight, I will do my UFC debut on the undercard. For free. I'll fight for free, for charity.
But let's be honest, Twitter versus Threads beef might be changing its form. Chances are that their bout might shift from being a cage fight held under UFC's banner to a courtroom battle hosted by USA's Department of Justice. I don't want to be a pessimist here, but that'd be a major step down, and it'll leave the ex-YouTuber looking for another controversial fight to start his MMA career. Coming back to his potential UFC debut, Logan first came up with the idea on his podcast, Impulsive, sharing that he was curious about the upcoming Meta versus Twitter bout, and he was hoping it'd become a reality because he was curious to see the outcome.
Elon Musk and Zuck are fighting, because that's what I'm interested in.
Well, it's a weight thing. It's a weight thing.
Yes,
what's the age difference? Elon?
But that's not all. Logan went on to share that if the fight really happens, he'll be open to making his UFC debut on the undercard that night for free. He shared that he'll also donate his earnings to charity just like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. I don't know about you, but it looks like Logan's really hoping that Dana gives him a chance to share the spotlight, so much so that he's willing to let go of his paycheck. Anyway, let's see who the ex-YouTuber will be fighting. His choice of opponent didn't come off as a shock to anyone, and that's because there's already some beef going on between the two. He named none other than the controversial Paddy Pimblett as his future opponent.
I'll run over that cage and try and knee you in the face dead quick, and I'll keep scrapping until there's 5 seconds left, 2 seconds left. I'll keep swinging until the end of the bell.
Logan joined combat sports by picking up wrestling and finding a name for himself in WWE, but he's been hinting at a possible MMA debut for a long time. Well, looks like he's finally ready to step into the cage. While this bout will definitely be an interesting one to watch, did you know that Paddy wasn't exactly his first choice? He really wanted to take on none other than Andrew Tate, but that guy's busy being a full-time controversial figure. So Paul moved on to his next best option, which can also be called a bout waiting to happen, because Paddy the Baddy and Logan Paul already have a bone to pick with each other. In fact, their feud's been going on for some years now, and there was also a chance of Logan bringing in lawyers to the mix. It all began with Paddy allegedly copying Logan's energy drink called Prime. The Brit ended up reeling his own drink called Fuel, and the wrestler didn't take kindly to some competition. But there's more to the story. Paddy actually decided to trash talk Logan's energy drink by telling everyone it had loads of sugar in it, and that was enough to tick Logan off.
Prime's got 25 calories in. Your Plaid Nutrition Zinc has 5 calories in. Which thing's better?
He took to his social media, telling everyone that Baddy was exaggerating and that he should go back to school, since he had all his measurements wrong. On top of this, Logan even pulled the copyright infringement card, threatening his rival to sue him because Paddy allegedly copied his energy drink. But Paddy the Baddy couldn't care less about some YouTuber's threats. In fact, the man went ahead and brought out a weighing scale to prove his point. But who knows? Maybe he messed around with the scale. The only way to settle this debate would be to put these two in a cage and let their fists do the talking. Plus, this fight might be a way for Paddy to shed his controversial image. It's still highly unlikely, but the Baddy could at least try. His last fight was against Jared Gordon back in December 2022, and Paddy ended up winning it. But oh boy, the audience wasn't happy. People went as far as saying the man had robbed Gordon of his win. So, if things work his way, chances are that he'll finally get to regain some of that credibility, because the fighter has been out of the circuit since then.
Unload those strikes. Tendler letting go with big punches here. Stolten turns to his back.
Besides, both Logan and Paddy have been looking forward to meeting in a cage for a long time. Paddy was even once recorded saying, "If Logan wants to fight in UFC, he's more than welcome. I'll be there waiting for him and we'll fight." That settles it, I guess. But what are the fans saying about this alleged fight? Let's just say people aren't really in the podcast host's favor. In fact, some even said his offer to donate his earnings to charity didn't make sense, because he wasn't getting paid for it at all. Apart from this, the popular opinion is that Paddy will walk away from the fight as a winner. And I've got to agree with them here, because Paddy has 20 MMA wins on his record, and he's only lost 3 times. His latest fight was the bout with Gordon in December 2022.
Not at all. I won the first 2 rounds and then coasted in the third. I knew I was 2 rounds up, so I didn't want to do nothing dangerous, and
As for Logan, he's been out of the ring for quite a while now. It looks like Paul hasn't accepted his new career yet, seeing how he's only had 3 bouts until now. And by the way, 2 of them were with the same person. In the first one, Logan stepped into the ring against KSI back in 2018. I bet a lot of you remember that one because it was a really big deal back then. It ended in a draw, leading to an anticipated rematch in 2019. Logan didn't even win that.
From the United Kingdom, the Nightmare, KSI!
And then came the highly controversial bout in June 2021, where he stepped in the ring against the 5-division world champ, Floyd Mayweather Jr. Despite it being an exhibition boxing match with no scoring, Logan maintains that he won the fight, but that's really up to you if you want to believe him or not. Now here's the real question. Will Dana White be okay with this fight? The UFC boss doesn't like to put his fighters in messed up situations like this one. I know he made an exception when it came to Conor McGregor versus Mayweather, but that fight brought in a lot of money. If a possible Paddy versus Logan bout will be making some real money, chances are that neither the UFC boss nor the lightweight fighter will be saying no to it. This might be the optimist in me talking, but have you guys seen the sizes of the controversies these two are lugging around? There's no way people won't be tuning in from all over the world to see who wins. And if you're familiar with the UFC boss and his ways, this clearly means more money for him. This obviously will be enough to convince him to host a gimmicky fight on his platform, something he's just extremely against.
Talking a lot throughout this negotiation, and he wants to turn around and fight again this year. And that's after he fights.
So if things work out, a Paul versus Pimblett bout will soon follow the super duper legit fight, Musk versus Zuck. Oh, and here's something interesting. Did you know the possible venue for these fights would be the Roman Coliseum? And guys, going with the traditions of UFC and other combat sports, the trash talk has already begun. Now, Paddy has yet to respond to Logan's offer publicly, but I'm guessing that he'll see that he's actually getting the better end of this deal. I'll ask this question once again. Who do you think is more likely to win the bout? There's a 90% chance that the baddie would be annihilating him since he's got years and years of experience under his belt. Still, that's not going to keep him from letting his overconfidence slip away, which at this point is an important part of his personality. Right after Logan let everyone know about his intentions to fight Paddy, he made some pretty colorful remarks to stay ahead of this thing. The wrestler said, "Give me Paddy Pimblett. In the off-season, that boy looks like a blimp, and he'll come up to my weight class and I'll whack him."
Paddy Pimblett. Give me Paddy the baddie.
I get nervous in all these fights.
In the offseason, that boy looks like a blimp. And he'll come up to my weight class.
I guess he's purposefully forgetting that Paddy's been in the game since 2012 and that he has a black belt in jiu-jitsu, or maybe Logan has a little too much confidence in his abilities. Whatever it is, I for one am looking forward to Paddy's response. And let me just add this here. The baddie has previously mentioned that anytime Logan mentions his name, the man's just clout chasing. And if this bout takes place, he'll sure as heck get a chance to settle this as well. So there you have it. From initiating some good old trash talk to finally getting a chance to weasel his way into UFC. That's how Logan Paul could finally make his MMA debut.